this republic. Let your blessings descend upon us here assembled, and grant that we treat and consider all matters that shall come under our deliberation in so just and faithful a manner as to promote your honor and glory, and to advance the peace, prosperity, and welfare of our country, and of those whose interest you have committed to our charge. Amen. I'm impressed. Am I higher? Yes. Good morning, honorable members. Welcome to our today's morning sitting. Ask the clerk to proceed.
Order number 1, administration of oath.
Next order.
Order number 2, communication from the chair.
Next order.
Order number 3, messages.
Next order.
Order number 4, petitions.
Next order.
Order number 5, papers.
May I invite at this point Honorable Daniel Ndwiki, Chairperson Lands and Energy Committee, to come forward and lay down a paper or papers. Honorable Ndwiki.
Honorable Speaker, I beg to lay the following paper on the table of the Assembly today, Tuesday, 26th November 2024. Thank you. Report on the Lands and Energy Committee on the petition of members of Sambaki Residents Association. Thank you.
Thank you, Honorable Member. Next order.
Order number 6, notices of motion.
May I again invite Honorable Ndwiki, Chairperson Lands and Energy Committee, to come forward and give a notice of motion.
Thank you, Madam Speaker, once more. Honorable Speaker, I wish to give a notice of motion that pursuant to Standing Order 190, Subarticle 5 and 201, Subarticle 2, this House adopts the report of the Lands and Energy Committee on the petition of members of Sambaki Residents Association laid on the table of the Assembly on 26th November 2024. Thank you, Madam Speaker.
Thank you, Honorable Member. Next order.
Order number 7, statements.
May I invite Honorable Nicholas Nzioka, Majority Leader, to come forward and make some statements.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Honorable Speaker, the House Business Committee met today on 26 November 2024 to prioritize business for the House as forwarded by committees and honorable members pursuant to the provision of Standing Order number 151, Suborder 6D. The committee balloted business as follows. Tuesday morning, 26 November 2024 at 10 a.m. 1. Statement on implementation of the Equalization Fund in Kiva Ward by the Honorable Alphonse Mutinda. Number 2. Report of the Labor, Public Service and ICT Committee on the annual report of the County Public Service Board for the year ended 31st December 2022 by the Honorable Joshua Mwanga. Tuesday afternoon, 26 November 2024 at 2:30 p.m. Number 1. Statement on grievances of matatu operators during the strike on 20th November 2024 by the Honorable Alphonse Mutinda. 2, report of the Lands Energy Committee on petition of member of Sabaki Residents Association by the Honorable Daniel Ndwiki. And 3, alteration of the calendar and adjournment of the House by the Honorable Nicholas Nzioka. Thank you, Madam Speaker.
Thank you very much, Majority Leader. Point on statement. Proceed.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. I've stood to seek your indulgence and direction on a statement which I sought in this House on 14th June 2024, which is almost about 4 months ago, on property PDP number MKS 56201 and 2018/01. Madam Speaker, I saw this statement and you directed the Committee on Lands to come back with a report within a stipulated time. I understand from the chair and that the committee actually has done a report, but it has not been balloted for business in 3 consecutive sittings. And I wanted you to give us direction why that statement is not coming to the floor of this House when it is a matter of great concern to this assembly, because the property we are discussing belongs to this assembly. I wonder what is making the House Business Committee to sit on the statement and make it not come to the floor of this House. Thank you, Madam Speaker.
Thank you, Honorable Member. Since that matter was not before me, right now, I would request that the member allows me to check on what is happening, then I report back. Thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you. Okay. Next order. Is that so? Sorry. Oh, okay. Sorry for that. At this point, I would like to invite Honorable Alphonse Mutinda to come forward and make a presentation of a statement.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. My name is Alphonse Mutinda, representing the great people of Kiva. Madam Speaker, aware that the Equalization Fund is established under Article 204.
Point of order, Madam Speaker.
Honorable
Madam Speaker, the point of order. Thank you, Madam Speaker. I think I'm challenging the honorable member of Kiva.
problem with the machine.
Then he can as well use the services of the others. My brother, Honorable Mutinda, you are people's representative. Your voice must be audible
point of
enough
information,
both in the
Madam
House and the
Speaker.
people outside.
It's okay, Honorable Bunga. He has heard.
Maybe it is his first time to use the
device.
microphone.
You can use.
It is first time to use the microphone.
Point of order, Madam Speaker.
Honorable DS, what do you want to say?
No, Madam Speaker, I was to stand on point of order to Honorable Ngunga, who has since sat. So maybe the member may proceed. He was addressing the member instead of addressing the chair, Madam Speaker. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Honorable DS.
Point of information, Honorable Speaker.
Honorable.
Yes, I just want to inform the House that members who contribute in this chamber represent the electorate, either the electorate or the political parties. And if a member is standing here to represent that electorate or that appointing authority, he or she should not be disturbed. I'm requesting Honorable Ngunga to stop forthwith instilling fear on Mheshimiwa Kiva. And I'm defending as a member of Mandela Chap Chap. In fact, we want every member who has not spoken in this House to gather courage and start contributing. So, Honorable Speaker, kindly let members not be scared. Thank you.
Thank you, Honorable Ndawa. That's very important. Allow the member to. Okay, proceed.
Honorable Speaker, I think our speaker's audibility is a problem that need to address. I need to inform Honorable Ngonga. The member before us last week brought a statement which is already committed under committee. So it is not the first or the second time for the member. He is competent and able enough.
That's true. I agree entirely. I think the gadget was the problem. The member has no problem.
Madam Speaker, I want to say this. It is not my fault. It is the gadget.
That is
so. My voice is heard by every honorable member who is seated here, and I'm blessed with a good voice. Thank you.
Thank you.
Madam Speaker, aware that the Equalization Fund is established under Article 204, Sabbatical I, or 1.
Yes.
Of the Constitution of Kenya 2010, aware that national government uses the Equalization Fund only to provide basic services, including water, roads, health facilities, and electricity to marginalized areas, to the extent necessary to bring the quality of those services in those areas to the level generally enjoyed by the rest of the nation, so far as possible. Aware that Article 204, Sabbatical 3 and B of the Constitution of Kenya 2010 provides that the national government may use the Equalization Fund either directly or indirectly through conditional grants to counties in which marginalized communities exist. Noting that in the financial year Madam Speaker, I don't know what is the problem.
No, they just
because I can see that my statement is being interrupted. I don't know where the voice now is coming from, because now everybody is hearing me. With your permission, Madam Speaker.
It's the machine that was not working very well, but
now
it
so
has improved.
You need to check on that.
Thank you.
The same problem occurs again. The same problem occurs again. I cannot even hear myself. Madam Speaker,
yeah.
Kindly,
Proceed.
Can you?
I'm protecting you.
Yeah.
Yeah, proceed.
Thank you. Noting that in the financial year 2023-2024, Machakos count was allocated 12,923,346 by the Equalization Fund Appropriation Act 23 for development expenses, which include basic services like water, road, health facilities, and electricity. Aware that Kivaward was allocated a sum of Kenya shillings 6,153,545 from the said fund. Honorable Speaker, pursuant to the standing order number 41 of the Assembly Standing Order, I wish to seek a statement from the Chair of the Assembly Committee on Implementation concerning the following matters. 1. How the Equalization Fund were utilized in terms of project undertaken. 2. What is the implementation status of the project undertaken in the ward in the financial year in question? Thank you, Madam Speaker.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Honorable Alphonse. That's a very important statement you brought to this Parliament today. And as a result, I hereby commit the said statement to the Committee on Implementation to report to this House as soon as possible. Thank you, members. Next order.
Order number 8, motion, approval of annual report of the County Public Service Board for the year ending 31st December 2022.
May I invite Honorable Joshua Mwanga, Honorable Rosina Kadini, you are holding brief for Honorable Mwanga. Then may I invite Honorable Rosina to come forward and move the motion before us.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. I'm Rosina Kanini, Special Elect Wiper Party, and standing in for the Chair, Labour, Public Service and ICT Committee. Honorable Speaker, I wish to move the motion that, pursuant to Standing Order 195, this House adopts the report of the Labour, Public Service and ICT Committee on the annual report of the County Public Service Board for the year ending 31st December 2022, laid on the table of the Assembly on 12th November 2024. Thank you, Madam Speaker.
Thank you, Honorable Member. You may call
I hereby call Honorable Matthew Ndunda to second the motion.
Thank you, Honorable Matthew. Thank you, Honorable Matthew. I now propose the question that, pursuant to Standing Order 190, Suborder 5, this House adopts the report of the Labour, Public Service and ICT Committee on annual report of the County Public Service Board for the year ending 31st of December 2022, laid on the table of the Assembly on 12th November 2024. And before I call upon the members to debate on the matter, I call upon the mover to come forward and highlight on the report. Yes, Honorable Member.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. I stand on point order number standing order number 27 for the request of extension of time. Honorable Speaker, that aware that the standing order number 27 Suborder 2 provides the Speaker shall interrupt business at 12 p.m. for the morning sitting. Aware that standing order number 27 Suborder 3 provides that the House may resolve to extend its sitting time. And aware that, Madam Speaker, the standing order number 27 Suborder 4 requires a motion to extend time to be moved at least 30 minutes before the time appointed of adjournment. Honorable Speaker, I beg to move the motion that the House resolves to extend its sitting time until the business of the day is accomplished. Thank you, Madam Speaker. I wish to call the Honorable Minority Leader to second. Thank you.
Thank you, Honorable Member. Honorable Minority. Thank you, Honorable Minority. I now propose the question that this House resolves to extend its sitting time until the business of the day is concluded. I now put the question that this House resolves to extend its sitting time until the business of the day is concluded. As many are of the opinion say ayes. As many are of the contrary opinion say nay. The ayes have it. Thank you, members. May I invite Honorable Rosina to come and highlight on the report.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Once again, I'm Rosina Kanini, Special Elect Wiper Party, standing in for the Chair, Labour and ICT Committee. Annual report for the year ending 31st December 2022 by the County Public Service Board. Madam Speaker, with your permission, I'll start with the free face. Honorable Speaker, the County Public Service Board plays a vital...
Let's agree on the way forward.
I'm going to do the free face.
Free face.
Then the consultation with the County Public Service Board, committee observations, then the committee's recommendations.
That's in order.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Honorable Speaker, the County Public Service Board plays a pivotal role in ensuring that our county public service operates efficiently, equitably, and in accordance with the laws governing human resource management. The board's primary mandate is to oversee recruitment, staffing, training, and the overall well-being of our county employees, ensuring that public servants have the capacity to deliver high-quality services to the public. It also ensures that human resource policies and practices are aligned with the principles of accountability, transparency, and fairness. The annual report for the year ending 31st December 2022 by the County Public Service Board provides the committee with a comprehensive review of the Public Service Board's activities, challenges, and achievements during the past year. It highlights key areas of focus, including staffing levels, employee performance, compliance with public service regulations, and the overall state of the county workforce. The report also outlines critical challenges such as staffing shortages, budgetary constraints, and non-compliance with key legal requirements, such as wealth declarations by county employees. The Labor, Public Service and ICT Committee interrogated the County Public Service Board and acknowledged the fact that it has a vital responsibility to scrutinize the performance of the county public service and provide guidance on improving human resource management in the county. This report gives us the opportunity to engage with the findings, review the recommendations, and address the gaps that have been identified. By doing so, the committee and the board can work together to create an efficient, responsive, and accountable public service that meets the needs of our citizens. The committee noted various achievements on staff appointments to the county public service, promotion, contract appointments and renewals, confirmation in appointments and redesignations. However, various challenges such as budget constraints, recruitment delays, and inadequate facilitation of the board require urgent attention. The committee must advocate for increased resources, improved enforcement of regulations, and strategic interventions to address these issues. Furthermore, the failure by some county employees to declare their wealth as regarded by law raises ethical concerns that need to be addressed to restore public trust in the county government. This report provides a solid foundation for meaningful discussions on reforms and strategies that will ensure an effective, accountable, and transparent workforce capable of delivering essential service to the people of this county. Achievements of the County Public Service Board. Honorable Speaker, in the year under review, the board made achievements in the following aspects as detailed in the report. 1, appointments to the county public service. 2, promotion of staff, contract appointments and renewals, confirmation in appointments and redesignations. Consultation with the County Public Service Board. Committee interrogations with CPSB. Honorable Speaker, Article 195(1) of the Constitution of Kenya 2010 stipulates that a county assembly or any of its committees has power to summon any person to appear before it for the purpose of giving evidence or providing information. Honorable Speaker, Section 39(2) of the County Government Act 2012 states that a committee of the county assembly may require a member of the executive committee to attend or appear before the committee and answer any questions related to the members' responsibilities. Honorable Speaker, the committee invited and interrogated the chair, County Public Service Board, on 26 March 2024 and received on 27 March 2024 through a letter, reference number MKS CS/ATM/CPSB/Volume 1/032, Annex 5. The responses are as indicated on Chapter 4 of this report. Committee observations. Honorable Speaker, based on the annual report 2022 and discussion with the County Public Service Board, the committee observed the following. 1, the County Public Service Board faced significant budgetary limitations which impeded its ability to effectively carry out recruitment, training, and performance management functions. 2. A significant number of county employees, 249 officers, failed to comply with legal requirements to declare their wealth as mandated by the Public Officer Ethics Act 2003. High employee exit was noted, particularly the Health and Emergency Service Department, which had the highest number of employees resigning, 44 employees. The employees were reportedly those of lower job group, A to K, relocating to other countries, looking for greener pastures. 4. That the board did not carry out a comprehensive staff audit to establish the exact number of employees working in the county. 5. That it was reported that most employees had stagnated in the same job group for over 7 years without promotions. Committee recommendations. Honorable Speaker, the committee made the following recommendations. 1. That the county executive should advocate for increased budget allocation to the County Public Service Board to ensure that the board is adequately funded to carry out its mandate. This includes financing for recruitment activities, performance monitoring systems, and infrastructure improvements. 2. The board should enforce deadlines, issue reminders, and take disciplinary action against employees who fail to declare their assets. Further, the committee recommends clear penalties to employees who fail to declare their wealth, in line with the Public Officers Ethics Act 2003. These penalties should include suspension, fines, or legal action, depending on the severity of the non-compliance. The board, through the respective department, should establish 249 officers who did not declare their wealth, ensure compliance within 21 days, or stop their salaries with immediate effect. 3. That the board should investigate to establish reasons for employees exiting the county public service and identify any possible gaps. This will help introduce better compensation packages and career development for all departments, especially the Health and Emergency Services Department, with the aim of establishing a better working environment and minimizing high staff turnover. That the board expands the range of training programs with a focus on soft skills, technical skills, and career development pathways to help retain talent, especially in areas where turnover is high. The board should prioritize on conducting a comprehensive staff audit to establish the constitutional requirement for effective public service delivery and compliance to the 2/3 gender rule, minority rule, and 5% rule on pensions, persons living with disabilities. That the board comes up with a human resource recruitment and data management system to enhance recruitment process of staff for improved recruitment process and staff data management. Conclusion. Honorable Speaker, it is therefore my present duty and privilege to table before this Honorable House the annual report for the year ending 31st December 2022 by the County Public Service Board for discussion and adoption. Thank you, Madam Speaker.
Thank you very much, Honorable Member. I now invite members to debate this motion. Any contribution from members? Honorable Majority Leader.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Madam Speaker, I happen to be a member of that committee. And I want to thank the members for having a nice report. And I would want to draw the attention of members on recommendation number 2. We were able to establish that 249 members or employees of county government did not declare their wealth. It is a constitutional requirement and a legal requirement that every 2 years you declare your wealth. To us as a committee, we looked at it like it's a red flag that if 249 members cannot declare their wealth, where do they exist in the beginning? And we thought that this is a serious issue of human resource management, and that is why we are recommending that the board establishes who are these officers, first of all, why they have not declared their wealth, and report to this house that there is compliance within 21 days, or if they are drawing a salary, it be stopped, because we think this is a red flag as a committee. Number two, there's also the issue of recommendation number 3, and this is especially to the Department of Health and Emergency Services. You realize that there is a lot of staff turnover at lower cadre, and as we know, the Department of Health and Emergency Services is one of the departments that is key to the operations of the government or the services we offer to the people. Health is very key. And so we thought the board should be able to establish clearly why our nurses, why our people who assist the nurses are leaving the department. Lastly, I would beg of this house to check on the budgetary allocation of the County Public Service Board. When they appeared before us, they shared some of the problems they face. For example, even the chairman of the County Public Service Board sits in a pool office. In an ideal situation, even if the other officers were sitting in a pool office, I would think the chairman at least would have a space of his own, befitting his office. So I would wish that we see how we can speak with whoever person it is, that we are able to increase budgetary allocation. They even indicated that they could not do a proper staff audit because of budgetary allocations. If the board is telling us they cannot do a proper staff audit, who then can do it? But every time we ask them, they cited budget allocation, the money appropriated to the board. So I beg of this house and every other quarter that we reconsider at least funding the board adequately so that they perform their mandate. Otherwise, I think it's a good report, it's a starting point, and I promise this house that as a member of that committee, we will continue working hard to support the board to deliver its mandate. Thank you, Madam Speaker.
Thank you very much, Honorable Member. Those are very important points you've raised there. I hope the committee is taking note of that. Honorable Brian, then Honorable Ndawa, in that order.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. I will be very brief. I would like to thank the committee for a very good report. Although I have a concern why they are bringing a report of December 2022 to this assembly. We are in November 2024. And if we are just going to be bringing reports which, for the sake of them, which cannot even, they have overlapped, they have exceeded any action which need to be taken. Honestly, I think we are not doing justice. We should be bringing up-to-date reports, which we can actually take action immediately.
Point of information, Madam Speaker.
Point of information.
Madam Speaker, an office of the nature of the County Public Service Board will never have a vacuum. First, this is a report that was brought before this house when we assumed office. After we had assumed office. So we had an obligation to this house because it was committed to the Committee of Labor. We had an obligation to bring back our findings before this house. I want to imagine an issue of the 249 members who have not declared wealth. I shudder to imagine they did not declare wealth last year. It is a red flag. That is why we are raising some of these things. Even now, members, you visit the Public Service Board offices and you find the chairman sitting in a pool. These are real issues. Even though the report is coming a little bit late,
but we are raising real issues. You are not telling us members, and the chairman for health is here, that there's no high turnover in the Department of Health. It still exists. So the report might be late, but the issue is current and pertinent. Thank you, Madam Speaker.
The report may be late, but issues are pertinent.
Madam
Member.
Yeah,
Point
Madam
of order.
Speaker, don't speak on their behalf. We must be
Point of
seen.
information,
Point of information.
please.
Point of information granted.
Thank you.
Granted.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. I think we need to inform Mheshimiwa Brian. And every day, even today, as late as today, he gave us the time ahead of us. So I don't know how. This report is late. Today morning, you told us we've got 2 years to go. So it can still be implemented. Thank you, Madam Speaker.
Thank you.
Point of
Honourable Member.
information, Madam Speaker.
Point of information granted.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. I would like also to add to inform Mheshimiwa Kisila that Labour Committee is up to the task, and very soon we are bringing the 2023 report. Thank you, Madam Speaker.
Thank you, Honourable Member.
Thank you, Madam Rosina.
Honourable Brian.
That is the right way to answer the question. Madam Speaker, that is the right way to answer the question. Going around, if there are any issues, that's not the issue. The issue is, we as an assembly, we are there to oversight the executive. And we are there to give on up-to-date advice so that they can be actionable. If you take 2 years to ask for the chairman's office, we have done budgets for 2 years. This report has been here for the last 2 years. My point is, as committees, let us get down to serious business.
The point
I am happy that
the point is home,
2023
Honourable
report is coming, and I'm also looking for 2024 report to come. Madam Speaker, I want to bring the attention of the House to these 249 officers. In fact, I don't agree with the recommendation. It is a mandatory requirement for any officer to declare their wealth. I was imagining the committee should have recommended, and I think as Assembly we should recommend that these people should be given a show cause letter with disciplinary action being taken against them. Otherwise, we are babysitting people. 249 people have not complied. Why are you telling them to be given 21 days? The committee should have been very hard. So, moving forward, when you are bringing recommendations here, bring recommendations.
Point of information, Madam Speaker. Madam Speaker, please, because the information.
Granted.
Thank you. Madam Speaker, our recommendation says the board should enforce deadlines, issue reminders, and take disciplinary action against employees who fail to declare their assets. Further, the committee recommends clear penalties for employees who fail to declare their wealth in line with the Public Officers Ethics Act 2023. And we further go and on further recommendation. These penalties should include suspension from employment, fines, legal action, depending on severity of non-compliance. So, be informed. And I would through Madam Speaker, I would request that the Honorable Kisila read the report in full.
In fact, you did not even need to read it again because it has been read.
Yes.
And it is upon the member to read and bring this.
Thank you, Madam Speaker.
Bring to this House something that he has already read and researched and is giving the right information. It's upon you, Honorable.
Madam Speaker, I had not seen that point. And I take it that I withdraw the harshness, but I still insist this report is overtaken by events based on the fact that it is a 2022 report and we should be discussing 2023 report. If we need to be serious as an assembly on oversighting the executive, let us be up to date on the way we are engaging them. That's my point. My last point is on training and development. I like the recommendation of training our staff on soft skills, technical skills, and career development. We have engaged some of these staff, and most of them actually don't have any degree of soft skills, even the way they communicate. And you have seen it in a lot of issues coming up. So we need to come up with as a house, in our budgeting process, let us come up with a very well thought out budget on how we are going to train our staff on soft skills, technical skills, and career development. I want to bring to the attention of the high staff turnover. Yesterday in our health committee, we came up with that issue, and my chair is here. We have a very serious issue on career, on high turnover of our nurses and doctors. We also don't have a legislation on staff going on study leave. You will find that most of our doctors are going on study leave for their master's program. And it's fully paid for. And when they come back, they leave. They go for 2 years, 3 years master's program. They come back, fully paid, and they come back and they don't stay. So this assembly, we came up with a recommendation that we need to come up with a very serious legislation on how training programs, especially in the health sector, will be undertaken. Why would you be paying for people when they're not working? When our people are suffering in the hospital. And when they come back as consultants, highly paid, and they leave. So on that point, I agree. Let us come with a serious legislation as an assembly on how we will ensure that training and development is there, but also that people don't take advantage of us. They get trained by the county government, and immediately when they come back, they leave their service. Thank you, Madam Speaker.
Thank you very much, Honorable Member. On the issue of maybe being financed by the county and then you come back and you don't stay, should be taken care of, because I believe before you are granted this sponsorship, you must have signed a bond that once you are back, you should work, at least work for a certain period of time before you leave. Those are the matters that to make sure that that person doesn't misuse. I call it misuse because you want just to take advantage of the county, the finances, and you just leave and go and do your own thing. So I think we also must be very strict on such issues.
The issue, there is no legislation governing that. There is no legislation governing that. And that's why they are taking advantage. They will go, come, immediately they leave. As an assembly, urgently we are recommending that we come up with a very serious, well-structured legislation of how that process will work.
Thank you, very important. That is impunity. To do that is impunity. It is. Let's proceed. More contributions, members. Honorable Ndawa.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. My name is Judas Ndawa, the member representing the Great People Matu. Honorable Speaker, I do support the report, but I must say that the report is up-backed. The report is up-backed. And the reason I'm saying the report is up-backed is this. The report is talking about 249 employees who have not declared their wealth. And the committee was very mean. They did not dig to know these 249 belong to which country. Because now the committee has left us with questions that are not answered. The committee would have gone further to say 50 out of these are in the Department of Solid Waste, another number are in this department. Honorable Speaker, it is within public domain that when audit was done, we got information that we got some ghost workers. And the committee has not taught us whether the 249 is part of the ghost workers which are said to be there, or they are genuine employees. I'm requesting the committees, when handling matters, kindly let us be fair enough. Let us give comprehensive report, that we don't leave members with questions that are not answered. Again, Honorable Speaker, we have seen that the turnover, labor turnover, is very high. Again, the committee was also mean. They not dig to know how the turnover is. Is it by sacking? Is it by death? Is it by redundancy? Or is it by what? You are just telling us the turnover is very high. The committee would have taught us whether the turnover is caused by high resignation. Either people are resigning, either they have died, either they have retired, or they have been sacked. Those information need to be provided.
Information, Madam Speaker.
The other point, Honorable Speaker,
information.
I may not require that information.
Point of information, because
I
have been granted permission to inform the House, not specifically the Honorable Minority Leader, but to inform the House. But we have cited there is high turnover within the county establishment, human resource establishment. But we have also cited, especially in the health and emergency services, by resignation, and we have tried to establish why. Is because they are going to other countries for greener pastures, and it is in the report. Thank you, Madam Speaker.
Thank you.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker.
You may proceed.
Turnover, when it's too high, it is dangerous. And when it's too low, it is also dangerous. If you have done human resource, when it's too high, it is dangerous. When it's too low, it is dangerous. You need to be at least moderate. And from the report we are getting, it is too high. So there are questions that need to be answered. Why is it that our staff are opting to leave our country, to leave our county, to go and work elsewhere? Does it mean that we pay them poorly? Does it mean that we mistreat them? Or what is the cause? So, Honorable Speaker, these questions need to be very clear. Honorable Speaker, the committee has not shown us whether the department do what we call TNA, training need analysis. Because that can be one of the cause. That can be one of the cause. Every department has to analyze what training needs to be undertaken so that the department can be effective and can be able to discharge its duties without problems. So, Honorable Speaker, if we don't work on this issue of TNA, training need analysis, we might be forced to face a challenge of what we call redundancy. Honorable Speaker, somebody was employed on Kandahar, and maybe he or she has been moved to another department. And because of that lack of TNA, that particular employee cannot be able to discharge that duty that he or she is supposed to do. So, Honorable Speaker, we need to be smart to when we are bringing these issues. So, Honorable Speaker, I just request my colleagues who are in this house not to agree with this report. Let the report be sent back to the author. They back it fully because I've said it's up-backed. So that as we approve it, we approve something which is fully backed. Honorable Speaker, we need to either refer the report back to the committee or we proceed, we shoot it down. Thank you, Honorable Speaker.
Thank you, Honorable Member. Honorable Mutie, then Honorable Maida, then Honorable Ndaka. In that order. Honorable Mercy, then.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. I was listening to the Vice Chair when she was narrating the report. And what I was seeking to hear from her is not an advisory to the board. In fact, when you go through the recommendations, they appear to be advisories, not recommendations. For example, that the board should investigate to establish reasons for employees. In fact, that should have formed a basis of interrogation so that they can ask them, what did you do when you realized that employees are quitting the service? Instead, they are telling them to go and investigate. I thought they should have asked them for answers at that particular time. I hear them say that the board expands the range of training programs with a focus on soft skills, technical, career development pathways to help retain talent, especially in areas where turnover is high. Honorable Speaker, when a committee is engaging the department they oversight, they should be understanding the role of that department so that even when they are oversighting them, they can point out the gaps which that department is doing, is committing. Now, we have a report that is, to me, a general statement that does not have a clear pathway to the future. When we say that the health department, there is a high turnover, we are not being told the reasons as to why that turnover is happening. The committee should be telling us that when we sat with the board, they told us there is a high turnover because of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 reasons. Now, what are we passing? We are passing a recommendation that, number one, the county executive to have more budget allocation for the county public service board. To do what? Is it to buy a new office? Because the majority leader seems to be passionate about where the chairman sits. In fact, I was tempted to imagine when he said that he sits in a pool. I was wondering, instead of swimming, he is sitting. Only to realize that a pool means many people sharing an office. Honorable Speaker, of importance also is that the committee seems not to ask the board whether they have developed human resource policies for the county. Because it is a human resource policy that will address the gaps that arise in the...
Point of information, Madam Speaker.
Point of information granted. Honorable Mutia.
Yeah, thank you, Madam Speaker. I think we also, as members, need to be honest with this committee, and also read the dire report, because in the report the issue of human resource policies has been highlighted, number 56. So there is that response from the committee, Madam Speaker.
Honorable Speaker, when we look at a report, of interest is the recommendations, not the narration. Of interest is the recommendations. It's important. We know how reports are written. We participate in writing reports.
In fact, I've seen the point that has been raised that the board comes up with a human resource recruitment and a data management system to enhance recruitment process of staff for improved recruitment process and staff data management, which means it doesn't exist.
Yes, it does not
means
exist.
It doesn't exist. It's a recommendation to come up with it.
Honorable Speaker, what I'm saying is this, and I think if you listen to me, you will understand what I'm saying.
Yes.
Number 6 says that the board comes up with a human resource recruitment and data management system. That's not a policy.
I'm saying that it doesn't exist as we are talking. It's a recommendation to come up with it, which means it doesn't exist as we are talking.
I'm saying, if you could hear me,
yes,
and I will read it as it is written. It says that the board comes up with a human resource recruitment and data management system to enhance recruitment process of staff for improved recruitment process and staff data management. Now, when you emphasize on recruitment, we are talking about in-service policies. We have a human resource policy to recruit. Do we have a human resource policy to maintain? Do we have a human resource policy to capacity build? Do we have a human resource policy on how to manage study leaves? Do we have a human resource policy on how to enhance participation of our staff? Now, it is interesting that we concentrate on what they have said about recruitment, but we do not want to focus on the need to maintain our staff in service. After we have recruited them, what happens? They leave. Why? Because they feel that they are underutilized. They feel that the employer is not building their capacity to perform. They feel that the conditions of work are not
Madam Speaker,
good for them. Therefore, it is important for the committee to give us a report that charts a way forward. As far as I'm concerned, and I love information, is that this report cannot be relied to write the next chapter of the human resource in Machakos County.
Madam Speaker, point of information.
Honorable Speaker, these informations are
Point
too
of
much,
information
and they add nothing to what I'm saying. They're just wasting time.
Okay, proceed.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. So,
there are too many points of information.
there are too many. They interrupt.
No, the information I'm giving him is different from how he's arguing.
Let him conclude.
Please, Madam Speaker, hear for me.
Let him conclude. Let him conclude. Allow him to conclude.
Therefore, Honorable Speaker, it is my humble submission that if we want to assist the service board to do a good job, it is not to cover up the gaps that exist. Let us refer this report back to the committee. Let them engage the board in a broader way. We have a strike currently with the medical practitioners. And some of the issues they are raising, they are as a result of those gaps. As a matter of fact, we are having doctors who want to go out to study and they be paid a full salary. And when they return, they want to blackmail the government to give them higher salaries. Honorable Speaker, we cannot have this kind of a report. We are having a strike now of doctors who said that I have a master's degree, I must be given a higher job group. Why? Because we do not have a human resource policy governing redesignation of staff, a human resource policy governing promotion of staff, a human resource policy governing even how staff operate. Honorable Speaker, it is, and I will be asking my colleagues to agree with me, that we have to refer this report back to the committee for a better work. I thank you.
Madam Speaker.
Madam Speaker,
I'll give you an opportunity after Honorable.
I want
Mike.
this honorable member perhaps to we first sober up before we pull down or refer the report back to the committee.
Point of order.
For one reason, Madam Speaker.
Point of order, Madam Speaker.
Madam Speaker, protect me. For one reason, Madam Speaker.
Let him conclude.
For one reason, Madam
Allow
Speaker. Honorable members,
Yes,
we
sir.
need first to understand
The
report we are speaking about is a report of 2022. Two members, let us go slowly. Even if we refer the report back to the committee, it will still come back to us. We digress about it and go about give our recommendation. What I'm saying is this: one, we need to understand that this report even came before we were sworn in. Two, as a result of a bad and poor leadership in the board, that is why this house took the entire board home. And we have a new board in place. That is one thing we need to take into consideration. In fact, what we should be asking the vice chair on behalf of the committee is to tell us how soon can the committee bring before this house the 2023 report so that we can marry together with the current report and make the necessary accommodations. So, honorable members, let us not try to hold the committee hostage. It is a 2022 report that came before we came in. It is a report that resulted to the removal of a board that is already at home. We already have a board that is in place to come and tell us whether they went ahead and did what the previous committee did, Madam Speaker. So I don't want to dwell much on what has been raised, but I just want to dwell on two observations. And maybe that would answer some of the questions that my previous speakers have said. If you go to the observations, one, number 4, not even number 4, I just want to deal with number 5 only because of time aspect. That it was reported that most employees had stagnated in the same job group for over 7 years without promotions. But Madam Speaker, honestly, that answers the question as to why there is mass exit in various departments, and especially in the Department of Health, because those staff find it much better to go and work in other countries. Madam Speaker, even in this assembly, we have said and we have said before, it is unfair, it is inhuman, and a bad human resource practice to let a staff stay in one grade for more than 3 years. It means that staff's output to the institution is not adding value. So we need to reevaluate and relook into this issue. It is even demoralizing that you can earn the same salary for almost 5 years without your salary being increased with a single penny. So, Madam Speaker, this number 5 answers so many of the questions that the Honorable Chair from Health has said, that there is mass exit in the Department of Health and a lot of problems are facing the Department of Health. And I think the committee now can tell us, is the report that is coming before us for 2023, has it captured some of the things that have been raised?
Point of information.
And once,
point of information,
Madam, I think I'm properly informed. So allow me to proceed, protect him, Madam
Proceed.
Speaker. Madam Speaker, number 5 answered so many questions that are in the report. So what I would request of the committee and of members is that, because this is a 2022 report that came before we landed in this assembly, we treat it as it is, and the committee promises how soon can they bring the 2023 report, so that once we marry it with this report, then we can refer back the committee, because it will not have addressed critical issues that members are trying to speak. Otherwise, it will mean they will have to, the committee will have to recall the committee that we send home to come and answer questions that they might never give us that information, Madam Speaker. That is my submission.
Point of information, Honorable Speaker.
Point of information, Madam Speaker.
Honorable
Point
Speaker.
of information.
Point of information.
Point of information.
Honorable Molinge.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. First, I would like to thank the Vice Chair of the committee, where I sit as a member. Madam Speaker, a lot have been said regarding the performance of the committee, but the time I've been seeking point of information, I wanted to tell the members, this report is for the year ending 2022. And you know, most of the members, we came here towards August, September, whichever August. And at the same time, Madam Speaker, the board, the commissioners, the committee is working with, they came in office 2023. Madam Speaker.
Point of information, Honorable Speaker. Yes. And kindly allow
Madam
me
Speaker,
to inform.
protect me.
Kindly allow me to inform. Kindly.
Okay. Loud.
Honorable Speaker, you are a lawyer by profession, and you are aware that we have the Constitution of Kenya recognizes different types of persons. We have the natural person and artificial persons. A natural person is somebody like me, like yourself, like any other member of this house. Artificial person is an institution like MACHAKOS County. Even if the governor left, even if the commissioners who were there left, the office has office bearers who are positioned equivalent to those held by those commissioners. So, Honorable Speaker, the argument of that the commissioners who were there at that time are not the one. They don't go with a report. So the argument cannot stand here. And again, Honorable Speaker, we have heard from the previous speaker that is trying to bring the 2023 report, which is not before the House. The report we are discussing is this, 2022. And we cannot now start lying on a report which has not yet found its way into this House. So, Honorable Speaker, the only better thing we can do, if we want to be fair enough, is to refer this report back to the committee. They go and beg it fully and bring it when it's...
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Thank you, Madam Speaker. Maybe we should also look at the year of the report. Number one, it should not be assumed that it is the committee that triggered what we are discussing before the House. It is a requirement of the law that the County Public Service Board submits a report to this House every year. And indeed, they did that. The report that was submitted was for the year 2022. So, when it was brought before this House, Madam Speaker forwarded the same to the Committee of Labor, Public Service, to study the report and bring the findings here before this House. So number one, honorable members, we should agree that any recommendation, any observation, any recommendation is limited to the report that was brought to this House by the year 2022, December 2022. So our scope was to look at the report as it was brought. We could not discuss anything outside the scope. So when I hear honorable members asking or requesting Madam Speaker to refer back the report to us, the scope will never change. The scope will not change. The scope will, Mheshimiwa Mulinge, the scope will not change. We will still go back and study the same report. Number two, further, apart from looking at the report we went further to invite the board members. And I agree with the Honorable Minority Leader, institutions don't exist in vacuum. So we invited the chairman then, and they appeared before they appeared before the committee and the commissioners, and they gave us information to the best of their knowledge. So number one, our primary source of our observation and our recommendation is the report that was submitted. Our secondary source was what the board members told the committee. So I do not think that our recommendation are, for lack of better word, trash, as some honorable members want to see. What I would be thinking is for them to enrich our recommendation, because even though you said it to come back, maybe that is how far we could take as far as our recommendation is concerned. I would be asking the honorable members, if you have any other observation, go and read the report. Look at whether you have an observation you can make to enrich our observation. Go read the report. See whether you can make a further recommendation to enrich our report. Otherwise, it is going to be zilch work to send the report to us in the circumstances. And I hope, members, based on that, our scope is a report, and what we found out from the commissioners, that we are going to pass this report as it is, and invite us to read and engage with the report for 2023 in view of improving the overall performance of the County Public Service Board. But sending it back, zilch. Thank you, Madam Speaker.
Can I make a ruling on that issue? This is the ruling on the determination of the issue of what is it that we are discussing here. The matter before us is a report on the Labour Committee for 2022. And that is what is before us today. And it must have had its own terms and references. It must have had a scope. It must have limitations as to what extent can you discuss it or can you report on it. So it would appear that there was that scope is what the committee dwelt on. Members, let's dwell on the issue that occurred in 2022 and not 2023, so that we can get a headway on this matter. So my ruling is that let's dwell on the matter that was before us is 2022 matter. And it has its own references, it has its own extent, it has its own subject matter, it has its own prayers. Thank you, members.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Allow me to finish.
Yes.
Madam Speaker, the role of the public board, one is to do recruitment, two, to do staffing, training, delivery of high quality services. Madam Speaker, on the area of the challenges the board addressed, one was limitation of resources. And they said because of limitation of resources, workers have stagnated in one job group. And the reason why they have stagnated in one job group, because we have been having issues of wage bill. So increasing the salaries, it means that we are going to increase the wage bill. So, allow me to finish. Allow me to finish.
Allow him to finish.
So, Madam Speaker, the reason why the public board has delivered up to their task, one is resources. And because of resources, because they have talked about their achievements, one, promotions, recruitments, but after recruitment, again, they are saying layers of appointments. So the issue in Nandia is we are talking about resources, budget allocation, and that is the reason why even training training of workers, to them, they did not manage to do because of lack of enough resources. No, they have talked about limitation of resources.
Let's respect each other's opinions. And
so, Madam Speaker,
submissions.
And lastly, the Vice Chair said, very soon we'll be having a current report year 2022-2023. So I request members, because this report was the year ending of 2022, let's pass this report the way it is. But now a report for year 2022-2023 will be report touching on the areas members have ventilated. Thank you, Madam Speaker.
Thank you, Honorable Member. Honorable Maike. Oh, there was Honorable Maike, sorry. I had identified. It was ahead. Yes. Proceed.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. I am a member of the Labour Committee. And first, I want to say I'm a bit shaken by the reactions. But I stand proud of our report. I might not have gotten to the threshold that the members would have wanted, but we stand by our report. First, I'd like to say that it's a report for 2022, yes. The 2023 report is ready. I've seen our chair has arrived. He can verify that we finalized it yesterday. So it actually caters for a lot of what the honorable members are mentioning right now. And I hope they will allow this report to pass as is and allow us to present the other one, which will be better. Madam Speaker, for me, as a member of the committee, my biggest red flag was the fact that there was no audit in 2022. There was no staff audit. And it means that the board could not authoritatively tell us how many employees that the county government had in 2022. It means they cannot actually give us data on how many PWDs worked in 2022. They cannot tell us how many women, how many men, how many marginalized communities work in Machakos compared to the Kamba community. There was no information that could give us like good data that would help us like know things about the county government and its employees and how they are working. So for me, that was like a really big red flag. And it was, they claim that it's the budget constraints, but I think perhaps the board should focus on prioritizing, because a staff audit is very, very important, because it helps to inform even the payroll and everything. So I feel like that's, in 2022, the board failed in not providing good information because they did not do a staff audit. Thank you, Madam Speaker.
Thank you very much. Very important highlights there. Honorable Maike.
Thank you, Madam Speaker, for giving this chance. I would start by saying, I think we should agree on one thing, that we are dealing with a report of 2022, which has been brought in 2024 by members sitting in office in 2024. Because if this report really is touching on issues of 2022 and maybe before 2022, then the same committee, because I was wondering, it is 2024, almost 2025, right? And we are discussing a report of 2022, meaning that some people, we are supposed to have done some work. And the reason, Madam Speaker, you hear members having a lot of agitation, it is because of whatever is happening currently. Because 2022, maybe things never went well. We are saying that we wait for 2023, 2024 report for us to have this recommendation. And I believe all the members, we are speaking in one voice. And we are speaking in one direction. Only that if you listen to the Labor Committee, they feel they've done their work, which we agree. But for me, as a member, I feel there is much to be done. For example, there is a recommendation they've given about resignation, and we've spoken about doctors, even the chair health, has said some of the effects of this committee, because the committee of public service is the backbone. It will determine the wage bill. It will determine even how work is to be done. Madam Speaker, you'll be shocked because there is one member who has raised issue about policy. You'll be shocked that today you have a CEO who has been suspended and the results ends there. And tomorrow you meet the same suspended CEO who has been reassigned somewhere else. So you understand the policies and the things we are speaking about. The County Service Public Board is not doing us the right thing. And Madam Speaker, the recommendation we are saying, let's not mix issues here. It's not a matter of whether a report is passing or failing. But as a member, I'm feeling that there is much that needs to be done on the report. So that now because if we don't have proper recommendations, what informs a report? A report will be adopted. And whatever has been adopted among the recommendation will become like a law, because it has been passed by a house. So if we pass this report in the context of it was 2022, yet the things that are affecting us, I've heard somebody speak about staff audit. But when the Honorable Her Excellency came into office, she raised red flags about staff audit. And I believe that the governor was so keen that she said, we have to do a staff audit. Until today, these are some of the reports that have never been brought. That is why the Honorable Minority Leader was asking, are we talking about the ghost workers? Are we talking about this and that? Madam Speaker, there is a lot that is even costing. And especially when we come to resignation. There's a time people were complaining some times back. You are here, maybe you've been working in this department. You are in Group R. And you are transferred to, I don't call it a lesser office, but you are redesigned to smaller duties, where somebody who is a lower group than you is now becoming like head of you. So it brings a lot of conflict. Look at the resignation, a lot of things. So that is why, as honorable members and the majority leader, I hear you and I understand the way you are saying. We are not saying the report is a trash. It is not a trash. But we don't want that by the end of the day, whatever has been recorded in ASAD is that we adapt the way it is, and then we just wait. If they brought in 2022, I'm an engineer, we can do something called prolata. They'll bring it in 2037. Because if they brought a report of 2022, they'll delay, they'll do it. We don't know whether it is intentional. So we better do recommendation. And my prayer to Madam Speaker, let them bring a report. And trust me, Madam Speaker, this is the current report of whatever is happening. You hear to what they are saying, that members are shifting from one country to another. It is something that should touch us very much. So, Madam Speaker, I feel much has to be done on this report. It's not any winning side. We are not like a winning, but for the sake of the county and the advancement of the county and the betterment of this house, and so that our recommendation are not just we've recommended. The work has done very well, and it is not the first time for a report to be referred back to a committee for better work. So it's not like we are winning or fighting. But I recommend better work has to be done, better scrutiny for better, because we don't want to see a lot of shames from staff and some things that we are seeing in the media because of public service bringing us bad people in the house. Thank you, Madam Speaker.
Thank you very much, Honorable Member. Honorable DS.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. I'm Stephen Mande, representing the great people of Kalakale Katini Ward. Madam Speaker, I will applaud the work that was done by this committee, noting that this is a report for 2022, for the year 2022, and I do understand maybe members are being agitated because they are expecting the committee to be reporting 2023, for the year 2023, not 2022. But let's all admit that what the committee did is correct. The recommendations that they've given, it's the only best. That's the best recommendation as a committee they could have done. Because, for example, what's wrong when the committee requests the executive, because that's their mandate to do, maybe to investigate and establish reasons for employees exiting county government. How else could they put that, Madam Speaker? That is the only way that committee could have put it. I've tried to go through this report, Madam Speaker, and some of the questions that the committee asked the board are very pertinent, Madam Speaker. The committee wanted to know about the promotions and appointments of employees. They asked about the criteria that was used for promotions. The same committee asked on the existing wage bill in the county government. They also, and they have responses to the same. They also asked about the staff promotions, employee contract renewals, employee wealth declaration, exit by resignations, and development of non-existing HRM policies. Those are some of the things that we expect to be done by the board, and there is nothing wrong when this committee requests the board to explain and maybe, according to the recommendations, there is nothing wrong with the committee requesting the board to check on the issues that the committee raised. So as for me, Madam Speaker, because this is a 2022 report, as an assembly, I would request, and I think it's prudent if we could pass this report and request the committee now to bring the updated report for 2023 now for this house to see and how best or what happened with the board. Maybe some of the issues that were raised here have been implemented by the board. We don't know. But if we get the updated one, we'll be in a better position as an assembly now to interrogate and see what has happened. If there are issues, they'll be raised, and that would be the report. Maybe that would show the correct picture of County Public Service Board, Madam Speaker. So my request would be, let's pass this because it's for 2022 and work and forge ahead. Thank you, Madam Speaker.
Thank you, Honorable Member. Granted.
Madam Speaker, I want to seek your indulgence on this matter on one aspect. Members are seeking for deferral of this report. And I want to say this. We will defer the report. In the next 2 weeks, this house will be adjourning. We will be back in February. We will still be pushing the report far much ahead of the current report that we expect. So, unless, Madam Speaker, a special sitting will be held, gazetted, to come and discuss the report, I will think you seek your indulgence so that we can do justice to this committee, so that the 2023 report can be landed in this assembly as soon as we come back from recess. So pushing it further means it will seek further delayance of the current report that we are expecting, Madam Speaker.
Point of information. Information, Honorable Speaker. Point of information, and maybe I seek your guidance on this, Madam Speaker. Should we convince as honorable members to eat food which is poisonous because another food is being prepared and is likely to come the next day?
That is
Honorable Speaker.
That is not what the member has said.
It is exactly that. Because, Honorable Speaker, if the report has lacunas, if we approve it, it means now the implementation committee will take charge.
Point of information, Madam Speaker. Point of information, Madam Speaker.
So, Honorable Speaker, we have only two options. Either we defer the report back, or we shoot it down. It dies natural death. Then we forget about it.
Madam Speaker, I think the food we are talking about here has already been eaten. So there is nothing that can happen out of it. We can get nothing out of it.
Point of information,
So
Madam Speaker. Point of information.
And so, Madam Speaker, you should just proceed.
Point of information, Madam Speaker.
And maybe see where we can get some drugs.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. I'd like to inform the House on the point that deferring a report means that we are late. Honorable Speaker, passing a report that is defective does not justify our efficiency of working. Secondly, I'd like to inform the committee that there is already a contradiction in their recommendations. We are being told that this report is 2022. Now, they are telling the board to investigate. Are they going to investigate 2022, 2021, 2020, 2019? What are they going to investigate? The issues we are raising here is not about any person. It's about the integrity of the House in adopting sound reports. That's just what we are saying.
Point of information, Madam Speaker. Madam Speaker, thank you. Thank you, Madam Speaker. Madam Speaker, I agree with members. We are not in a contest. It's about whether what we are going to adapt or not adapt will stand test of time. But I go back to what I am requesting this House, that we have a scope. If you are reading a book and it has 28 chapters, how then can you go and read and talk about the 29th chapter? This is not our report. This is not the report of the committee. The report was from the County Public Service Board for us to study.
Allow him to finish.
He's misleading the House. He's misleading the House, Honorable Speaker. Point of order, Madam Speaker.
Kindly protect me, Madam
The public.
Speaker.
Point of order, Madam Speaker. Point of order.
We said, let the member finish. Please, let the member finish. Proceed.
Madam Speaker, I beg you not to let this House to generate to an Indian bazaar. I am saying the report found its way to the committee from this House, because the report was prepared to be consumed by the House. And since the whole House cannot consume the report was referred to the Labour Committee. And the report is limited to events up to December 2022. Events up to December 2022. And we analyze to our base of knowledge, Mr. Chairman, to the base of knowledge, and reported back up to events of 2022. I want to give an example. For example, the report from the Public Service Board indicated that 249 people did not declare their wealth in 2022. By 2022, December. That is what we got from the report. And what did we recommend? We recommended that the board finds out who these people are and sanction them accordingly, according to the law. That is our recommendation. What else could we have done? Go and get those people? Does the committee have the mandate of going to get those people and take them to jail? No. Thank you, Madam Speaker.
Actually, Madam Speaker, the majority leader has been almost taken the House the other way, because this is not a report of the County Public Service Board. It's actually a report of the House, chaired by Honorable Monga. I don't know whether Monga now sits in the County Public Service Board, because the County Public Board has no way of bringing a report here. This is a report of the Committee on Labour, Public Service and ICT. After they have been, Madam?
I'm saying he corrected that impression.
I wanted him to get to hear that. Number two, Madam Speaker, I think the fact that probably we have a report that is late does not make it right. The fact of the matter is that we are discussing a report that is defective, and members are agreeing that the report is defective. Madam Speaker, I think so that we save time, it is your responsibility to guide the House. What do you think should be done in these circumstances? Because we have a duty as a House to guide. One of the things that I feel is that, and I want to agree with Mheshimiwa that has just spoken before us, that first of all, it is about the integrity of the report.
Is the report right in your eyes? If it is not, then it is the owners of this right to shoot it down. If it is right, let us approve it. Madam Speaker, I have a question. Why would reports of 2022 be finding their way into the House 2024, 2 weeks to 2025? Because now I've just interrogating my sister here, asking her, when did you get this report? This report landed in this committee in March. And they have sat on this report to date. What is it that the committee has been doing? Number two, they have a report that they are saying they finished yesterday, that of 2023. Madam Speaker, this committee on ICT has been sitting on reports, and I want to censure the chairman. Why would they be bringing us reports of Akina Chairman Luka? Chairman says, these are people that are already adding their goats in home. What are we supposed to do with these people here? Cecilia Seleka, when did they leave the boards? What are we discussing about here? Some of the people that we are discussing are long dead. Then, Madam Speaker, I think this House must raise up to the occasion and measure to the standards. I want to finish by saying, Madam Speaker,
Order members.
Madam Speaker, protect me because I have to say this. Mheshimiwa Dominic, let me just finish up. I am saying, Madam Speaker.
Madam Speaker, it is very unfortunate for this honorable member to allege that the authors of this report, some of them are already dead. Is it in order, Madam Speaker? Two, it came from the County Public Service Board. That was then. And you said they are dead. Maybe you can prove to us this house that we don't know. Two, any document that lands in this house, Madam Speaker, whether it was generated by a board that existed 10 years ago, it is a property of the house as far as it has passed through the test of the office of the Speaker and been committed to the relevant committee, Madam Speaker. The member is out of order.
Madam Speaker,
I
still wonder.
Of that members are dead is not right.
I apologize and withdraw on that one. But in case evidence is needed, I can as well proceed that direction. But because I do not want to waste the House's time, let me just conclude by saying, Madam Speaker, I think it's high time that we also take. I think we took a lot of time this morning, Madam Speaker, when you were away.
We did.
To interrupt today. And that's why I like the way you applauded members, because if you look at the presence today was very welcoming. Yes. It is because now moments have come that we must now search our souls. As committee members, as chairman, and as people who are responding, we must now search our souls. It is not a matter of trying to say we are going to do this because it is convenient. We must do what is right. If a report, Madam Speaker, gets to us and is referred to a committee and you give timelines, let those timelines be adhered to. Why would we be talking? Because now, for example, Madam Speaker, we are legislators here and we are oversighters. What are we going to oversight here, for example? If the present chairman of the County Public Board is a different personality, his tenure is different from what you are discussing here. Even the members that are sitting here do not even know the composition of this board here, because these were other members. Yet this report was required to have been filed by a given time. Was that there too? One of the things that we should be shooting this report is, but it's already time bound. It's out of time. Why is it finding? This is mockery to this house here, Madam Speaker. And this I'll be saying time and again. Madam Speaker, if we are going to make any reasonable sense, one of the things that we have been saying here, Mheshimiwa Dominic, and I want you to listen to me here. We are talking about development funds, and we are aware most of our funds are going towards employment. And you have already seen that in this that was 2022. It is saying that audit report was not. We have agreed. Audit report was not done in 2023. You are telling us now we anticipate it was done in 2023. We are going to base ourselves on this one here. We are losing so much money in absurd employment. So, Madam Speaker, I want us to send a signal at this early hour, that the House has risen, the House would need to be respected, and a report that does not meet the threshold then is taken to the dustbin.
This point, Madam Speaker, before you rule.
Let's proceed. Let's proceed this way. Honorable Member, Honorable Brian, wait. I was thinking the best way to go about this issue is I already gave directives that we are dealing with a 2022 matter. That one we said. And to me, if we take the direction of shooting down the matter, we still come back here to do the same matter because we must handle this matter. Do we want to take that direction? because the committee has said they have now the 2023 report. Let me just...
Yes, Madam Speaker, point of clarification. Yes.
What clarification? Let me finish.
It is called clarification.
So I wanted to give the chair of this committee an opportunity to reply, and we move on. Can you clarify some of those things?
Madam Speaker.
I told you that you have spoken so many times. No.
A point of concern, Madam Speaker.
Honorable.
Madam Speaker.
Yes.
What is it, Honorable Member?
Thank you, Madam Speaker. I'm also
clarification.
No, point of concern.
Concern.
Yeah. Okay, let me contribute, Madam Speaker. Point of information. Point of information.
Madam Speaker.
Madam Speaker, we are informed that we have another report. And these recommendations are meant for implementation. How will they be implemented while we are having another report at the same time? So we need your guidance, Madam Speaker, because once we pass this report, it will need some time for implementation. So we pass it, and there's another one who's coming tomorrow. It seems there is some confusion, Madam Speaker. We seek for your intelligence, Madam Speaker.
Let's proceed. Let me allow the member to reply. Let me...
Kalandi. Madam Speaker.
No, thanks, Honorable Member.
You have directed that I respond.
Come and reply.
Madam Speaker, yes. I have my vice chair who tabled the report. I've just come in late. But with your permission, before she responds or replies, allow me to say this, Madam Speaker. Madam Speaker, I've listened to the voices and the concerns of these members. One, I want to make a clarification that this report of the County Public Service Board was forwarded to our committee this year in March. Why? Remember, immediately we were sworn in, there were changes in the membership of the County Public Service Board. We used to invite them to appear before the committee, but they used to say, we don't know where to start or what to report to bring. Mr. Speaker, that is why it took almost a year, Madam Speaker, that is why it almost took a year to up to 20,
honorable members,
to have to 2023 March. Madam Speaker, the report before us, I heard one Honorable Ngunga say that we should not be mentioning the commissioners who exited. How could we have a report not mentioning the commissioners who were there by that time? And the report is for the year 2022. We cannot have names of commissioners who are currently there and yet they were not there in 2022. That is one. Secondly, Madam Speaker, when this report came, we had an interrogation of the current board thrice or 3 times. And what we brought here, it is exactly what is in the report. The committee was not going out to find out what was happening that year, other than what we were given by the board, the current board. So I'm pleading with the members. Let's adopt the report the way it is. All, Madam Speaker, with your indulgence, you can order that since now we have the current report of 2023, we have them together and bring them early next year instead of throwing this important report through the window. Thank you, Madam Speaker.
Thank you very much. Order, members. Order, members. I've listened to the application made by the chair of the committee of Labor and ICT.
Speaker, if an application is meant, of course it is meant by one party which is maybe is aggrieved, and maybe there is another party which is not agreeing with what the applicant is saying. May I ask, the honorable member is requesting that we merge. Do we now discuss a report which has not been approved by the House Business Committee to see it way to this house?
No, we are not doing that.
So, in Kikamba, if you allow me, we say every beehive had its own place. You cannot say I'm harvesting honey here and another beehive is there. Then we say we'll move that beehive to here where the fire is. We wait for that time. So, Honorable Speaker, I'm requesting that we deal with the motion before the House. Let us deal with the motion before the House, if we want to be fair enough.
I said the chair had made an application, and having listened to him and the entire House make submissions, different members make submissions, I hereby wish to... What is it? What, you have a bee there? I hereby defer this motion, return it to the committee. They will make a decision whether they want to merge or whatever they want to do with the meeting and bring it back. That is the ruling of the House.
Point of order, Speaker. The member who was requesting to speak has brought a bee here. I don't know whether it is a traditional.
Order. Honorable Monga, you want to say something?
Maybe a point. Maybe I think there was we need to.
I'm on my feet.
I have not.
I'm on my feet. Madam Speaker has not allowed you to talk. Madam Speaker, allow me to thank you for that wise ruling. And I want to assure you, as the chair, Labor, Public Service and ICT, come next session, that is early Feb, that report will be here, together with the 2023 report. Thank you.
Point of order, Madam Speaker.
Point of information, Madam Speaker. Point of order, Madam Speaker.
Point of order, Madam Speaker.
Point of order, Madam Speaker. No, Madam Speaker.
I've already ruled on that matter.
We will need to be heard. No. Madam Speaker, you need to hear me on this.
Order, members. Order.
I was on my feet.
Rule out.
Madam Speaker, you need to hear me on this because it's a matter of procedure.
One speaker speaks.
Order, members.
We have an issue of procedure, Madam Speaker, here, which is very important.
Order, members. Order.
But you cannot withdraw a report that way. That is the point. You cannot withdraw the report that way. How do you do it?
The Speaker is speaking. Honorable member.
Hey, Najue.
The House adjourns to Tuesday, 26 November 2024 at 2:30.